Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, and Tyler Speeds.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everyone know Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, the world's largest Heroclix retailer. Find Heroclix new and old on Troll and Toad. Use coupon code Clixed Off for 5% off your Heroclix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. If you like what you're hearing today on Clixed Off, check us out at patreon.com/Clixed Off. $1 and above gets entered into our monthly giveaways. $5 and above gets entered into our Discord chat for exclusive Heroclix tips and strategies and access to the Clixed Off teams for review of your team builds. And joining me today is Jason. We are going to go ahead and say it. He placed higher than Tyler with Juggernaut and Columbus. Albie.
That's right. He's so embarrassed he wouldn't even be on the podcast today because of it.
That's right. So embarrassed. And also joining us is Alex Wonderman Cruzz.
Hey everybody. I think I can safely say at this point I am the world's best online Heroclix tournament organizer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But yeah, thanks Alex for having this weekend go really smooth and all of your efforts there. And then our special guest for tonight is also sponsor of the show, owner of Lucky Dice Cafe and the ROC, Howard Brock.
Hey guys. Glad to be here.
So Alex and Howard, did y'all finally get some sleep?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what bothered me more than anything was getting up early, not the late. I usually am up late anyways, as most people that know me know. Alex will tell you I'm always up late.
Yep.
So that part wasn't unusual to me. Going to 2 o'clock in the morning doesn't bother me. Turning around and getting up at 8 and running all day and then to 2 again, that kind of gets you a little bit after a little while. But I caught up. I slept in a little bit Monday, worked, and then today I stayed home. I've been working, but I wished I was just doing nothing, but I stayed home today and been working on the charity event, the aftermath, all the stuff afterwards, all day today.
Yep. I've been about the same. I took Monday off, napped, relaxed, turned my brain off a little bit since it was going for like 48 hours, like straight, and then finally got back at it today. Started working on some, looking at all those charity props. That was fun to decipher.
Yeah. Sometimes they didn't help, but they were awesome. I wish I could have charity props for every event.
I don't. Charity props were the reason I did so. got such bad luck that day, man.
Charity props are the reason you got your
that's true.
Future Foundation factory set, right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, they wrecked me all day.
It was noted.
Yes, very much so.
You were actually, of all the things we had to choose, you were the easiest to choose.
Was it?
Yeah. You pretty much stood out.
I was far ahead of the pack, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's good to know. It was rough. But it's okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we've got a lot of content because we've kind of taken a break on the podcast here. So I think tonight, Howard's got some stuff we want to talk about. We've got some questions for Howard, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the winners and the future of the charity event, and I think we will have a separate episode when Tyler can join us later this week or early next week about full meta breakdown and the status of the meta. We'll touch on it a little bit tonight, but I don't think Jason or I want to stay up till midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning like this weekend.
No,
the event,
not today.
Today. So just as an update, Sam and Theo brought home a GI bug from daycare, and so Sunday night after I played all those rounds, I had to take Sam to the doctor and get some fluids, and then Monday morning after about 3 hours of sleep, I ended up getting the GI bug.
Oh.
So that was my Sunday and Monday, and today I'm doing a whole lot better, just trying to get a little bit of the rest of my strength back, but yeah, so lots of fun for everybody. So, Howard, where did you want to start with? Do you want to talk about the event? You want to talk about what the rest of 2021 holds for us, or?
Well, let's talk about the event, and then we'll lead into 2021. So the first thing that I want to tell, how did we get here? How did this event come about to be? Why am I involved in it? Why is Rock involved in it? Why did we do this? What was the reasoning? And yada, yada, yada. So I've been talking to Scott. I talked to Scott 4 or 5 years ago, honestly. And when he and I originally talked, he had committed to come to the Rock Cup. I was going to put him up, and I'm talking about the Rock Cup over in Atlanta. He had committed to come out there, and I was going to let him in, give him a free entry, the whole 9 yards, and let him play, and that just never worked out. And so over the last few years, it's always been on my mind and everything, and I've thrown a message here and there. But a few months ago, I had this idea that with everything that was going on, that I wanted to do a big event. That we were coming back out of COVID, and that the new rules were coming about. The Wonder Woman set was coming out, and I wanted to do a big event. There hasn't been a whole lot going on. That event was a live event. It wasn't an online event. It was something that it's something that we wanted to do, that I wanted to do, and planned on doing here in Huntsville. We wanted to do a live event, and I also knew where I wanted to go, and with the rest of the year and into next year. And I reached out to Scott and said, let's do something, and let's use this. And I've been having these weird things happen in your life. I don't know if you guys believe in signs. I don't know if you guys are compelled to do things sometimes. I have been compelled to do things throughout my life, or felt compelled to do things that like being places where I should be and doing things that I should be doing, or helping people that I should be helping. Last year, I didn't know much about Huntington's disease. Didn't really know anything other than it was a disease. Scott ran his event last year, and he had Heroclix on there, and I went in and I looked at it, and I was interested in some of the items that they had up to bid. Not just the Heroclix items, but there was D&D stuff there. There was Xbox stuff there, I believe. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff different things that I looked at that I was interested in. I didn't win any of it, but I did partake a little bit of the auction. And in so doing, I read a little bit about Huntington's. So, the purpose of anything, the purpose of his event and the purpose of this event that we just ran isn't just to raise money, it's to make people aware of what Huntington's is. So that was my first inkling. Since then, I've had weird things happen to me. I've had emails, contacts talk to me about Huntington's from out of nowhere. I have no idea. I watched a show after talking to Scott with not really understanding, not watching the show for what it was, but one of the characters on the show had Huntington's disease, and he talked about his mother having Huntington's disease and how he had to watch her die. So I quickly became well educated, or more educated, on Huntington's disease than I ever had been in the last year. Just things have been pointing to me in that direction. So I felt like, so when I reached out to Scott, my intention was that when we ran this event, that we were going to do part of it with Huntington's. I didn't tell him that, but I felt like I knew that something was going to be with Huntington's with it. And his words to me were that he wanted to do it, but he had a condition. And the condition is that we did something for Huntington's. And so it was an immediate yes. I had already had it in my mind about the auction that I want to do on Friday night. A lot of the things that we did this weekend, where I had already had it planned before Scott even said anything. The difference is that I had a live event planned. It was a Rock Cup type event here in Huntsville. Scott wanted to do a live event, and we were gung-ho about it, and that's what we were going to do. The auction itself that we were going to run on Friday night was planned from the get-go to be a live auction in the store, but at the same time letting people all over the world be able to bid on the items. Similar to what we did tonight. I mean, what we did Friday night. I mean, just imagine that we just did that, but we had all the items in the store, and everybody in the store was able to bid, but they were bidding against all the people that were already bidding all over the world. The difference is that if you were there and you won it, you just take it and go home with it. But that was the original thought process. There was some reluctance on WizKids to support it because they're not because of COVID and worried about having a large live event. Scott and I from there rethought things, and we said, it's really not time yet. It's not really time to do why don't we just take it online? And so when we approached WizKids back with that, they were supportive of the idea, and we just went full throttle from that point on. The original event, the live event, was not ever intended to be 100% everything going to the charity. I think we would have raised as much or more if we would have done a live event. I think everything was there to do that with, but I can't commit to a weekend of taking the store and rock and doing some of the stuff that I want to do and just turning it all over. But once we became an online event solely, I said, Scott, I don't want anything. We're just going to give you everything that we raise this weekend, this online event. We're going to put it all into Huntington's, everything. I don't want anything. I said, all I want to do is cover expenses. I said, I'm going to have some maps printed up. I'm going to have to do a few things. I said, just want to cover expenses, and everything after expenses is yours. Everything goes to Huntington's. I don't want any of it. And I said, I'm going to put all my time and effort into it. I think I have people that will put their time and effort into it, and we don't want a thing. We want to make this work. We feel like, and the idea is that this was something that was primarily to raise money for Huntington's, to make people aware of Huntington's, and those were the two primary things. But at the same time, I wanted it to. There was other things that were beneficial to us by doing this. One was bringing the Heroclix community together, showing the family that we have in this community, and getting everybody back on the same page, getting everybody getting used to playing again, getting a new set, getting the new rules out. And I think that we can accomplish this. It's a stepping stone for Rock going forward. I have plans, which I'll share with y'all tonight, on where we're going with Rock. And it also, It also made a lot more people aware of Oxit, which is another way of buying and selling items. And I wanted that to happen, and it did. And everybody, all the community, Oxit, WizKids, Gamer Mats, even some players, Colt Boltridge specifically, all jumped in. Just everybody rolled their sleeves up, chipped in, and everybody's ecstatic with what happened. And that's how we got to where we're at. And that's why we did what we did. That's why this event was important to us. And as far as, I'll just jump in there and lead into where we're going with this. We've always ran the Rock Cup in October, and it's known, a lot of people call it Rocktober, and I like that. But we've also always had scheduling conflicts. We never know what WizKids is going to damn do. They don't know what they're going to do sometimes. The World Cup flip-flops around. It goes from Origins to Philadelphia to Memphis to not at all to back to unknown territory. We don't know what they're doing. And then this year, you've got Dragon Con, Gen Con, and Origins all on top of each other. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not even going to try to run a Rock Cup this year. I'm not going to try to do anything this year. We're not running any events, more or less. Stores across the world, across the nation, are still not running live events that we need them to run, that feeds into the Rock Cup, that feeds into everything. And they're just not happening. WizKids and Rock are still on pause. Still have full intentions of unpausing at some point. Don't know when that point is, but we know that it will happen. And there's a lot, and even with the unpausing, there's a lot of things that we wonder about and how it's going to be, because normally we have convention exclusives that we get from WizKids, and WizKids hasn't exactly been making convention exclusives. They kind of put that program on halt. A lot of the convention exclusives that people are getting today, the 2020 convention exclusives that they did make, are rarer than most convention exclusives because they halted production midstream because of COVID. So, all that in the nut bag, it makes no sense to do anything this year. So my plan was to have this big event. It was going to be a live event, but it ended up being an online event, and that we're going to move to May every year. Now, moving to May, we want to continue to have the partnership with Scott. We want to continue to raise money and help out in Huntington's. I've told Scott I'm committed to doing that. We believe that we can. We think that we can have the Rock Cup in May with all the prizing that you guys have seen this weekend. We think that we can work Huntington's into that and do and raise all the money that we have in the past for that. And at the same time, the Rock Cup is going to give out the prizing that we've done before, and the main event will be for $5,000 plus the prizing. That's our intentions. That's what we're going to do. And we feel like the world will be in a better place next year in May. We feel like we'll have momentum. We feel like this will be possibly one of the biggest Heroclix events ever when we run it again. And we've had some big ones. So, that's saying a lot, but I believe people will come for this. Scott is planning on being there. We will be running. What the plan is that we will. I'll just share you my original plan. Is what we plan on doing next year. We will do one event there, like the Scott Porter Silver Age event that we did. That will be 100% going to the charity. We will sell maps with and the plan probably isn't an event map next year. We're probably going to do a Scott Porter Battle Royal design map, and that map we will sell, and all of the proceeds going towards Huntington's. The map will be available in the store when we're there. We will be playing Battle Royals, possibly Battle Royals with Scott on those maps. The map, very well, you guys have seen me do Battle Royals before where the map is prize. I think that's a hell of a prize. Scott, you can sit down and play, and Scott can sign your map. The Battle Royals, all the other events that go on that weekend, we will take part of our ticket price, and I don't know what that's going to be yet. I have to sit down and do some numbers, but it might be $1, it might be $5, I don't know. Probably somewhere in the middle of that, but even $1 all weekend for $1 off of every Battle Royal, $1 off of every event that we run, every side event that we run, the main event that we run, will total up to more than what we raised for the Modern Age event, in my opinion. And we will take that money and put it to Huntington's. And we also will do a auction like we did on Friday night. I don't know if we're going to do it on Thursday night or Friday night, but we will do an auction just the same way that we did it, but we will involve, it will be a live / online auction that happens at the same time, letting people we want to keep other people that can't make the event. We'd love that this weekend. I mean, I just sat down all day and I've been working out the prizing list and getting the mailing list ready for everything to be sent out. That's what I've done today, and almost done, but I'm still working on it. And it was by doing that though, I was able to, when I'm looking at every address, everybody that won something, everybody that played, everybody that was in the raffle and won something, everybody that was haven't got to the Battle Royals yet, but we had people win stuff in the Philippines, the UK, Mexico, Australia, all over the world, Canada, of course, America, of course, but all over the place. And we want to keep that involvement. And the way to keep that involvement is to keep the auction online. We will do a raffle again next year. We'll raffle some stuff off, and the proceeds of the raffle will all go towards Huntington's. It will be a live raffle where the people in the store can buy raffle tickets and win them. But we will also open that up to everybody else in the world where they can buy tickets just like they did this year, and win a raffle ticket and win something, and we'll mail it out to them. So nothing's going to change. We'll be doing the raffle, we'll be doing the auction, everything. The only thing that I don't know how we're going to do is I don't know that we'll do an online event like we did this year. I do think that we will do online Battle Royals because that's very popular and people have enjoyed it. I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but I'd like to incorporate some online aspect for other people that can participate and enjoy themselves, because I felt like, and Alex will probably tell you the same thing, that we did see people enjoying themselves playing in Battle Royals and getting to play a little bit online. I just can't run both at the same time. It's just impossible to run all of that at the same time. Mike can run Battle Royals at the same time, but we have to dedicate somebody to doing it, and I have to know that I've got the participation. But we will work on that. That's something to work. There's also a possibility we could run a online event the week before. There's a possibility we could run some battle royal tournaments the weekend before. Whatever. But what we want to do is we want to involve everybody. The online events, if we run them, I don't want anything out of anything that we do online. We will donate anything that we get to charity. So the point I'm trying to make is that I think we can do more. I think that what we did this year was phenomenal. We raised well over $30,000, and we're still got money coming in because we still have map sales all month. And I think we can do more. I think that we can do more than what we did this year. I think the event being live with some small with not small, but with some online presence for the rest of the world to participate in, I think that we could raise more than what we did this year. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think having an online element, will continue to get that wide reach. So I think that's probably a key element, especially for the auction and Battle Royals. I'll be all about some in-person events, though.
Oh yeah.
When that's all back and going.
Mhm.
So I just my personal opinion, I am probably had it up to my ears in online tournaments at this point.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, we want to see live people too. We're fortunate enough in Alabama to where we're able to play locally, and people can come in and play. Our store isn't shut down. We do have live play. Masks are not required at the moment. That was taken away. People can still wear their masks, but it's loosened up quite a bit here. I dare say it's almost to normal. I think that it's going to keep getting more normal because more and more people are getting vaccines. But yeah, I don't think that you're going to see the tournament that's down in Florida may be the largest live tournament that's going to happen this year. I personally am not going to it. I've got too many other things going on, and I'm just not. My head's not in the game right now. But I don't think you're going to see anything else this year. I anticipate not having nationals. I anticipate not having worlds this year. That's the way I feel about it. I could be wrong. I mean, I think there's probably still a slim chance of those happening, but I think that this year is going to be kind of a wash. I think we're looking at next year, and that's another reason why I think the tournament in May is going to be huge. I think we're going to be kicking everything back off. I want to become the Daytona. That NASCAR's got all these races that go all over, and they have their championship at the end. But their biggest race that everybody wants to win, their Super Bowl, is the Daytona, and it kicks everything off. So I want to be the Daytona 500. I want to have our event kick the year off. I want to feed into the end of the year. I don't want to worry about scheduling conflicts, when Gen Con is, when Origin is, when WizKids is running their nationals, when they're running the World Championship. I don't want to worry about that no more.
Right.
So I think doing what we're doing, going to May, kicking the year off, having Scott Porter involved, having the charity element in it, which is what we want to be a part of. We want to be we want to represent and be the guys that are leading the way and doing something good. I think all of those things will make for a really big event in May, and that's why I feel like that May could be our biggest event ever, and we're planning on it, and we have a lot of time to plan for it. This last tournament was done very honestly a lot quicker than what I'm used to, and if I wouldn't have done many events before, I probably would have panicked. But because of the experience that we have in running large events and doing online events and having Alex there and doing nationals last year and being able to do things and having the system in place, we were able to quickly put it together. I typically, as you guys know, I like to plan far ahead. I like to announce things far ahead, and we want to do this in May next year, and I think it's the right thing to do, and I think all the things that I'm saying is a step up for Rock and taking Rock in the right direction. We still want to do. I don't know when we will do states tournaments again, but it's possible that we could have something at the end of the year. It's possible it could be before the Rock Cup next year. The world's got to open back up again for us to do that. WizKids has got to. We've got to resume being able to not only do we have to resume something with WizKids, but WizKids has got to have pricing in place for me to be able to give anybody. There's a lot of things, a lot of wheels that have got to get rolling again for everything to get back to where it was. And when it gets back to where it was, I want it to be better than what it was. Like I said, we're on a pause. It's a longer pause than I thought we would ever be on a year ago. But that's where we're at. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're planning. And we're being upfront and about as realistic as we can about it. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and until we can get back to doing where we want to be, doing what we want to do and how we want to do it.
So
go ahead.
So I was gonna say, Colt did ask about 2021 season. So I think maybe there to sum it up would be maybe highly unlikely states later this year, or maybe early 22, but not looking like. And looks like we did get a couple other questions. Emmanuelle asked about in-person premium events will return. And that sort of thing. So do we think nothing rock related in person this year? I mean, is that pretty much off the table, or?
I'm very capable of sometime this year. I don't have a date for it. Running a large event at Lucky Dice, and it's not going to be the Rock Cup. It's not going to be a national championship or anything like that. But it's going to just be an invitational where we have a lot of prizing and with everybody wanting to play. So I think that's probably the best that I will do this year outside of maybe running states. I mean, that kind of sums it up. But I think towards the end of the year, I think that you'll start seeing an increase. And when I say the end of the year, I'm talking about fall until December. I think that you'll start seeing stores get cranking again, stores having store events, Rock Kit starting to sell a little bit more throughout the country, people having events again, people starting to get going back to where we more in the way we were, and then by next year, I think we'll be rolling. I think that everything will be in place. I think that we'll have harder plans. It's kind of hard to plan when you don't have answers from everybody. Whiz kids can't tell me when they want to unpause things right now. They can't tell me what they want to run when they're running it. But things are getting better. I mean, Magic just turned their in-store play-in for North America back on for North America. They typically lead and everybody else follows. I'm expecting Pokemon. I'm expecting I know WizKids was planning on having a meeting about it in this last week. I'm expecting all those things to happen really soon. I'm expecting official play to be coming back. I know that everybody's anxious. It's really hard because there's, I sit here and I talk about Alabama, and things are pretty good right here. Things are almost back to normal. But there are other parts of the country that I know are far from it. They're almost it's almost unchanged there. But overall, we are getting better. It's just going to take a little while, and when we do, I think that everybody will turn it back up. I think the stores will come back. I think that events will start running. I think there's a hunger to play. I really do. I think you summed it up a little bit, Dan, a little while ago. Online play isn't supposed to be what we're doing. Online play is supposed to be a supplement for live events. What we're supposed to be doing is playing live events all the time, all over the place, with our friends in the stores. And then we're sitting there one Friday night and hey, there's an online event. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm going to jump on one. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of summed up my, I didn't have a terribly great weekend, and I'll paraphrase a post that I made was, and I think the whole, pandemic thing is worn on a lot of people, and for me, I play a miniatures game, right? I don't play a video game,
right?
And I'm a very tactile person. I like rolling dice. I like clicking my figures. I like picking them up. I like moving them. I like the maps. And, it just didn't click for me this weekend. I just didn't get any love from the game this weekend. Just personally, right? And now, keeping in mind, everything was ran fantastic. They did a great job. My opponents were great. It was just nothing bad.
Cover. Nice cover.
Well, I just want to be clear, right? Like, I just want to be clear. It's an issue with me playing the game, right? It's not any other outside sort of influences. Man, we got together after we all got our vaccines, Jason, and we played a little bit of Sealed. And if y'all know me, I dislike Sealed. I'm not a big Sealed guy. But I can tell you what, after 14 months of not playing Sealed and getting together with your vaccinated buddies, it was pretty damn fun to crack some boosters and play some Sealed.
Yeah, I mean, we went to Columbus 2 weeks ago, and that was to play in person for like the first time in a year and a half almost.
Yeah, I mean, since February of 2020 was the last organized play.
I mean, for an official Rock tournament, that was the first time. Yeah, longer than that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it was February, wasn't it? Yeah, we had.
February 20. Yeah, I mean, there had been a couple of other stores that had their states. I mean, you hadn't went since July. Yeah. So, man, I've participated in all the online events. I've practiced, I've done all the things I've gone through all the motions, and it's just, man, I go and pick up a Heroclix and play on a map or play with Sam there at the house, and it's just a lot better. Like, I agree that it's a supplement, and it just hasn't been the real thing for me.
I really enjoyed back. We never wanted to be the primary source of play online. We became that because of the conditions the way that they are. I want to get back to where we're all playing regularly and we're running and we have our prizing back in place. And Alex is running winner maps on a frequency, but it's more for fun and people are in and out of them and they're short, fast, and quick. I want to get back to doing that, and then occasionally running a big online event. I mean, I would love to do some of the online events, maybe have a nationals online event or something of that nature. But that's a once a year type thing. It's not supposed to be where we're the only game in town, and this is the only way you can play. It's the reason I like running the big online event is it does allow people from all over the place to play. So I would like to do that again, but not with the frequency that we're doing it. The other thing that we talked about this weekend that we haven't got everything worked out, but I think it's probably going to be our next thing that we're doing, possibly on Rock and again online, is Battle Royals online. We saw a lot of popularity with doing that. We just haven't figured out the pricing yet. It's still, I mean, I just tell you what I discussed with them, and you guys can give me your opinions on it. There's two ways to go with this. It was awesome to just pay $10 online, play with people, crack boosters, and everybody got something. But I can't do that. We were given prizing by WizKids. They donated it to us, and the prizing, frankly, was pretty darn good. There, Scott Porter Boggs and team up cards and the other cards, the
legacy cards.
Legacy cards, yeah. Yeah, and so but I can't do that with any kind of regularity. I just can't. I don't have that kind of supply. So we have to come up with something else. And to come up with, and prizing costs money. And if we were to do this, we're going to want to make a little bit of money. We don't want to make a lot of money, but I mean, we have time and effort that goes into it. We don't just do it for nothing. The week in, week out event is not charity. It's It's something that I use a business model when we with Rock, and Rock does make money, and because I believe that because a business should be focused on making some kind of profit, a fair profit, but profit drives you to make things better. And that's just what I see. And so we're driven to make money, not get rich, but we want to do something that's fair. We're not making, even when we're at our best, we're not making fistfuls of dollars off of tournament entry fees and off of this whole thing. But we do make a little bit of money. It's enough money to make us want to keep doing it. I guess that's the way, and to speak or to say it. And so we kicked around everything from, like, if I charge $15 for a battle royal and I send everybody a sealed booster, I would love to be able to open the boosters up, like real boosters, and actually do a draft on the tail end of it. But the manpower required to do that doesn't make any sense to me. I would have to have, if we want to do these like frequently, let's say Alex was running them, that means I've got to give Alex boosters. Alex has got to open the boosters on camera more time. Then they've got to choose their team. Then they got to play. Then he's got to come back and put all the figures back out on the table. Then they got to do a draw from it, and then we got to mail them all out. Yep. And it's just too much work. If I once or twice, if we had ran a battle royal weekend, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But I'm wanting to do something that I'm wanting to have, like, you got Friday Night Magic. What if we had Friday night battle royals? I want to do something along those lines, and everybody sign up and play and play. So I don't know. You answer me that question. If you just got a sealed boot, if you play with Wonder Woman figures or whatever the latest set is, or some older set, if we wanted to put that out there, would that entice you that you knew that if you played that you were going to get, nobody's getting anything more than anybody else? It doesn't really matter whether you win or lose, other than the fact that you're winning or losing, but you get to you get a booster mailed to you. Is that interesting to you at all?
So for me personally, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and Howard, Alex kind of asked us this morning, ran a little bit by us this morning on BRs, and for me, it's so hard for anybody outside of WizKids to run BRs.
Outside of local stores. Local stores, just for a pure new set. We got 4 players instead of doing a weird sealed event. Let's all sit down, just open some boosters for this pre-release or something like that. Like that I could see, but yeah, what Dan is saying.
Yeah, so so WizKids for your $15 or $16 or how much ever they are, you get a booster, right? It's randomized, but you're going to end up with some figures. You get a Con LE, you get the 3, I don't know, they've done what, ID cards, the little pogs, the rings, right? So I think the problem for me wanting to play in a BR, more than just a onesie twosie or just an offhand thing to fill some time, is that, man, the pricing is just so much different between what a local store or even another organization like Rock can run compared to WizKids.
Well, I can run something pretty similar, but Dan, you're new to the game. Jason and I were talking about the old days. I'm telling you, the halls used to fill, and WizKids did not give all that pricing that we just said.
No.
Back then, you kept the booster that you got. You didn't put them out on the table and draft from them. I love the draft idea. I think that was a good thing. But all they did was put an LE. That was it. One LE got thrown in. That was the prize. That was it. And people lined up the same as they did today to play them.
Suppose I'm spoiled.
You probably are.
Yeah, And we've talked about this. Like I mentioned it. Dan's not really our target audience
No, he's
necessarily.
not.
Like it's interesting. We're thinking about this mostly because I feel like our BRs this weekend for the Heroclix Huntington's event just went so well. Like when I sat down and thought about what the event, the prizing, the cost, and everything, I thought this is something I would want to go play, and I'm kind of in that boat where I would go play BRs, especially if I get knocked out of a tournament early. I'm going to the BR tables, so that's what really sparked this conversation is that it went so well, but it was such an unusual circumstance that all this happened the way that it's happened. It's really hard.
I'm going to ask Jason this with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I think Jason and I are more alike. I will tell you this. I will play battle royals with my friends all day long in the store at any time with any set and buy the boosters with no prizing and be happy because I like to just sit there and play battle royals and I love sealed. So if me, Jason, and some other people were in the store and they say, hey man, let's play some battle royals, I would be more than happy if he said, man, they got Infinity Challenge over there and they're $5 a pop. You want to play? I said, sure. I would be in, and I would go and play it. I'd open, and we would draft at the end of it, and I would be completely happy. And if he said it's a Wonder Woman set, and it's $15, I'm in too. I will do that all day long, without hesitation, without any prizing, and not caring. But I do get the figures in the booster, so that's my thing.
I'm going to the store and I'm buying a booster for $15 anyway. If I go to play the BR, I'm getting an hour's worth of entertainment along with it. Plus,
and I enjoy it. I
enjoy doing that. So I think that's a win for me. You know, I like just sitting there and playing with people is just it's worth that to me.
So there's a couple ways of looking at this. Okay, so we could create some kind of prize pool for some kind of money. Again, I could do $15 and send everybody a booster, including shipping, and I could make that work. I could also charge everybody $20 and throw in a map. I could throw in a map, and with the winner getting the map and everybody getting a booster. I don't have a problem with that. I also could take prizing completely out and allow people to maybe earn points whenever we get points back. Charge $5, set it up for them, and they just play for fun. I don't know. I don't know what people want.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's for me at least, I'd rather do points or something, right? What I will say is the system that Alex got set up for online BRs is pretty phenomenal. So, I mean, I don't think, doing the random boosters online and, getting people that, I mean, I think that works really well, right?
I will say, just a reminder, the setup that we got was from Jay Patel. I want to make sure he gets credit. He is the one who kind of cavaliered the whole thing, so.
Gotcha. But, I mean, I think for me, I don't know, points is fine, right? Or even, just the booster is fine too, right? But I mean, I think either of those two options are fine.
And I think Alex and I, our gut is telling us something is there. We just haven't worked it out yet. We feel like there's something there. We just don't know how to do it yet. But I feel like we're going to figure it out. But I think that's about it.
Yeah, and that kind of goes in line with the problem we're having with our general online events is, we haven't run a ton, mostly because of burnt out. A lot of people are burnt out from playing online, but also people are questionable about the prizing. They want us to go back to the way it was, which we obviously aren't able to yet. So we're trying to battle to think of, okay, well, we still want to do online events. There's still people that want to do online events. Should we look at different avenues? Should we figure out exactly what we could do in BRs is one thing we're looking at, thinking, okay, well, this is desirable for a decent amount of people. Like, a lot of people seem to like it. Where could we go from that? So
I like it too because it's not a huge time sink either.
No.
I don't necessarily have 3 hours to sit here and play, especially because I have small children running around. But I can probably find 45 minutes or an hour to do that during the week and be okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we pick out a day of the week, maybe it's Friday night, and we just call it Friday night battle royal, whatever, and then just like you do a Friday night magic, or maybe we pick I don't really know about a Saturday, but I just feel like we ought to pick one night and run with it and let people from everywhere be able to play. Just connect everybody. I think there's something there. I just haven't figured it out yet.
And I think the other key thing, for me at least, is it has so little requirement judge-wise. I think that's important because our Winamaps, we are limited with our Winamaps. Like, if we could get enough people to want to do one every day, I would love to do one every day. But we just don't have the manpower to say, okay, we're going to devote 4 hours every day to run a Winamap. But BRs don't really need a lot of judge intervention. The way we have them set up, we can send them the link. The players would know how to do it because it's really easy to do, and we just have a judge on standby to start a timer. And that's really all that's needed for the BRs. Occasional questions, sure, but really just start a timer for them. And that allows us to do it any day, really, because that's easy flexibility. Winamaps just takes so much more time, 4 hours a night. I can't devote 4 hours a night every night. But BRs, to be able to say, oh yeah, I'm going to set you a timer and I'll message you when it's up. Okay. That's not that bad. So, but it's something we're thinking about.
Yeah, something's coming. We just don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do something. We just still love to hear people's responses to that. We would love to hear what people would like, what's possible. Like I said, it's anything from paying $5 and you get nothing, but we facilitate it for you, to a price of anywhere from $5 to $20 with prizing. It could be, we've got maps, we've got product. Just keep in mind, we don't have the ability to crack boosters. In an ideal world, we would crack the boosters for you, and you would play with the figures in it, and then you would draft afterwards. That would be ideal, but we can't do that. It doesn't work.
Yeah. And keep in mind, we want to do these type of events to get the community playing online, get people playing rock events again. We're trying to think of something to keep us going, because like Howard said earlier, rock online for me has always been something supplemental, but we also know there's a lot of people that just don't have anything right now. Like, that's just, and which is ironic because right now I feel like suddenly everyone is so eager to start up. Like, this past week I've seen so many mandates and so many things be lifted immediately because the CDC changed their guidelines. So it's one of those, while everything's still opening, there's still a lot of areas like the Pacific Northwest or some of our Northeast neighbors that aren't getting those benefits of opening back up. So we don't want to just purely, we want to go in store, but we don't want to just immediately cut off any online stuff. So that's why we're looking at this as maybe a potential avenue or something. So
we still can't play in store here.
Yeah. It's different everywhere. Some places you can, but the stores won't. Some places the stores will, but they can't.
Yeah.
It's everywhere is different. I would, even if we had everything was going right now, the Battle Royal thing is still intriguing to me, because I think it's a way that we can pick a night of the week and we can draw. It's fun. I'm thinking of something fun, not so competitive. It's just people getting together and playing a battle royal, opening some boosters, and just having fun, because that's what a battle royal is. It's not uber competitive. You get to sit there and talk with each other in more in a relaxed environment. It's the potential to be playing with somebody in Australia or the UK or wherever. That's not there right now, and we want to charge a minimum amount of money and either and be able to come up with some pricing or no pricing at all. We just think that there's something there, and we think it's something that people would do. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
like the idea.
yeah, I like it.
So, I mean, that's for the most part. I've said everything that I wanted to. We've talked about. I told you that the tournament this weekend, the event this weekend was just utterly amazing to me. I posted the things on the things that stood out to me. I mean, there was a lot of things that were. There's a lot of things, but the big things that stood out to me is that the auction was just incredible. Watching these guys battle for some of that stuff. The Canadians having the battle for the switch clicks was crazy. There was another. What was the other battle? They were doing the JLU cards.
Yeah, I was really surprised the JOU cards went for that high, but I'm also not.
It's Howard's fault. We could all admit it's Howard's fault, right? He said on stream, he's like, wow, I might get in there and start buying those JOU Teemo cards. They're so low. And then it's like everyone started bidding on it.
Well, they were low.
Yeah, they were low at the time. Then they skyrocketed.
Well, so what's funny about that, right, is the JOU cards themselves, right? That was the first set with them. There's 128 cards. I mean, the cost of a booster is $12.99. So realistically, anything less than about like $1,400 for those cards was still a good steal. Just fundamentally thinking, but even probably so more than that because there was only like 2 to 3 cards a brick, maybe 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And
those cards are still bringing money as a single. If you bust it up and sell, if you looked at it from, hey, I don't need these, but I want to resell them, they brought a lot of money. Those cards range anywhere from $3 to $30 in general.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the JOU card, even even the House of X cards, I forget what they ended up at, maybe $500-600, I think.
Yeah.
That was still a good deal for them because I think there was 60 in that set.
I was very pleased. I thought for the most part, I didn't think the switch clicks would go that high. I didn't. The Scott Porter Pogs brought more than what I thought that they would. I thought all of it would do good, but there's some things that, and I knew some things would go. I mean, I don't know who bought it, but somebody bought the King Shazam Chase, and I think they paid $150 for it. In my opinion, they paid probably $50 too high, but it's a charity event. So what? You know, it's so when it's going towards charity, people will spend a little bit more money. I get that. I kind of think that you're going to get maybe a 20% over allowance for what things are actually worth, but there were things there that were getting far more than a 20% allowance than what, in my mind, in what they brought. And I think it's great. I appreciate everybody that bid, but it was amazing.
Do you know what the total you raised all weekend was? I don't think I ever heard.
We still haven't got the final total because we just got the props from Alex, but I know it's over $30,000. We also still have money that I haven't put in there that's trickled in after that because people are still buying maps, and those maps get added into it. That's 100% charity. So it's still adding up. But we're well over $30,000 now.
That's impressive.
Yeah, charity props alone were close to $1,200.
Nice.
Just charity props alone.
Wow.
That was just one day. Just one day. We didn't do charity props on Sunday.
Some people try to though.
Yeah, they said they did charity props. Luckily, both of them did the same amount of charity props, but. But yeah, it was a great idea. I think next year, I mean, I don't know if we could do charity props in person, but I feel like we have to because that's just so much money. I mean, I guess it'd be easier.
There's no reason why you can't do it in person.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't.
They just have to write it on the form, on the slip, or when they come tell us their scores. So it was definitely way more money than I thought we would get with charity props.
Hey, all these guys have been to strip joints. We'll just tell everybody bring their dollar bills and we'll do it.
Oh,
I don't know if they're going to any in Huntsville. So
there are no strip joints in Huntsville. They all closed down because of COVID.
Oh,
Strippers. The COVID has definitely shut down that market. The strippers, the strip joints in this world, they're nil.
that's why we're going to start the Clixed Off OnlyFans account.
Yep.
Anyway, the auction was awesome. Just different things that I saw. I got to tell you that when we give out the fellowship prizes, I knew that some of the people that got those would be very ecstatic about it. I know Jason was pretty damn happy with his. But Emily Rowett, when she won hers, I think that choked her up, and I think that was great, and stuff like that. And of course, you guys. I don't know if you guys got to listen into any of the raffles, but the guys were typing that were watching this, and we got to see some reactions to it. The guy over in the UK won some of the big prizes. I think he won a Superman Prime. Said he found out he was asleep and woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and said he woke everybody in his neighborhood up because he was hollering. So those kind of things. That makes the weekend,
Wasn't that TJ?
That was TJ, yeah.
That was TJ, the winner of the fellowship. Woke everybody up.
No. I think was it TJ? I don't know.
Yeah, he sent me a message, or he posted in the Discord that he didn't know that he won fellowship till everyone was messaging him about it. It was so early. So
yeah, I don't think he won the Superman Prime. There's another guy over there that won that. It wasn't TJ, but there was another guy over in the UK that won that. But I mean that's. Those kind of things. There was a guy that had listened all day to try to win something, and had not had his ticket drawn, and he left the house to go get a dishwasher or something and while he was driving, we pulled his name I think 2 or 3 times. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're gonna want to try. Like Howard was saying earlier, like Friday and Saturday were just almost magical days, like everything that was happening, all the money that was coming in for charity. Sunday too, but we were a little exhausted on Sunday. So those 2 days, Friday and Saturday, we're trying to we're gonna try to replicate that, or that magic, I guess, sense when we do the event in May, because we're basically taking everything we did Friday and Saturday, and we're just gonna do it again. It's really just the modern event that would change. So. It's now one thing we should mention, because I've already started getting questions about it. Since you won the prizes and everything, shipping isn't going to happen immediately.
No.
Expect June. June is going to be the magic month for all of that, because Scott still hasn't gotten some stuff from WizKids, and a lot of organization.
I can give you a better answer because there's some things that you don't know. I can give you a better answer to that, where we're at. Everything non-WizKids, this stuff is being shipped from Scott and HDA. I think Huntington's disease. They're
HDSA.
Yes. Everything's being shipped. I think he's utilizing their shipping and stuff to help him do everything. So Rock itself is not shipping anything. Normally we do that. We're not doing that this time. My wife is very relieved. She's very happy that we're not doing that. But anyway, we're doing. Scott is handling that. And when I say he's handling it, he's doing the physical part of it, but I'm doing all the other stuff to prepare him to do it.
Names, addresses, all
putting everything, which is what I've been doing all day today. But the physical stuff is Scott has right now. He doesn't have the WizKids prizing yet. The WizKids prizing is coming in 2 different forms to people. If you're in the continental United States, from what I'm understanding, is WizKids is going to ship the bigger prizing directly to you rather than ship it to Scott and then Scott ship it to you. like a big factory set or something like that. It's going to be going. I think the plan is to ship it directly to you. If it's international, then Scott's still got to ship it. They were, from what he told me, they were planning on getting everything out to him sending it all out middle of the week. That would be including to the people that they're going direct to. Based on that, it will probably be 2 to 3 days. He's in California there, and well, I guess Alliance is probably shipping a lot of it. But he won't have it. Let's just be safe and say that he won't have it in his possession to Monday, Tuesday next week, and then from that point he's got to inventory it, which takes a few hours. And after it's inventoried, he's got to divide it all up by people, and then he's got to pack it all and ship it out. Now, I will tell you straight up that online events, one event is very easy to do. I know that there's been some other places, other events that have run, and people have gotten their pricing very quickly, and everything went perfect and everything. One event is easy, guys. If we only ran one event this weekend, if we just ran, say, the Silver Age, this would be a piece of cake, because all you do is you take all your winners and you send them off accordingly. When you run multi-events and you have to combine packaging and you have to pull up, and you've got not just when you've got multiples of battle royals, and you've got people that's won auctions, and you've got people that have got fellowship, and you've got people that 2 top 32s in both sides, and then you got the raffle of almost 200 items that we raffled off. That's a lot. So there's a lot of combined shipping, and that's what I've been doing all day, is putting all that together to give to Scott so they can start shipping out as soon as they got possession of everything. It's not easy. It's a lot. There's a lot to it. Even when we ran nationals and we had the 2 events, we gave out lots of prizing. It got complicated because you have teams, and when you have teams, you got 3 people that are winning the same prize. So you got triple prizing on one end, and you're having to combine it with the singles. And then you have some stuff that people wanted to have shipped all together to one place rather than each individual getting it. It's shipping is not easy.
So be patient.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying, is be patient. Keep in mind the key thing. This won't sound bad, but it kind of sounds bad. We're not the ones shipping it, so we can try to help out, answer some questions that we can, but we don't have. Rock is not the one that's going to be shipping everything.
No, they're not. But we will be assisting and helping,
yes,
and all that stuff. And and to reiterate what Alex was just talking about with what we're doing with the Rock Cup, and he kind of alluded, hey, we're doing the same thing, but we're doing the same thing that the Rock Cup used to do, and we're doing the same thing that we're combining the two. And what I mean by that is that we're not just going to run what we ran this weekend and add in one event. When we're live, we're able to do a lot. It's much easier to run things. We can run things a lot quicker. It's easier to hand out things. It's everything is easier. Trust me, I can't wait to do a big live event again. But
yeah, and it's interesting because you wouldn't think, like, it's hard to imagine the Rock Cup, as big as it is, getting bigger. But that's essentially what we're talking about, is we're taking the Rock Cup and adding all of this stuff with the Scott Porter thing. So it's going to be insane. I can't wait for next May. But
what you're probably going to see is we'll run the team event again. We'll run the single event again. And where we used to run the WWE event, so to speak, the third event, that's going to be the Scott Porter event. We'll add the auction in on a Friday night. We also are going to be adding the Hall of Fame in. We'll have 2 years worth of Hall of Fame inductions there. We'll be christening a Hall of Fame wall. There'll be a lot of things going on. Battle Royals will still be going on like they have. We have plans, and we realize that We have plans if we outgrow the store. How about that? That's the only thing that I can say is that we can expand. We will make this work. We're committed to it. We're excited about it. It's going to be great.
Hey, now if you don't have it at the store, how can I get my chicken sandwich?
They have these things called tents, then closed.
I'm with you. I gotta have my Jean Grey sandwich.
Oh, they're there. Since you've been there, Dan. I mean, I don't know if we had coffee when you were here last time, but we have milkshakes now. We have all kinds of things. We've created the total way the store looks is different. We're still in the middle of doing things. I'm actually going in tomorrow to move the counters to create some more wall space. Tables are being moved around. We have a tavern room now where we used to play at. That whole room is decorated like a tavern. There's lots of things. Lots of things have changed since you've been there. We have a dragon that greets you when you walk in the door.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Now, and another thing to piggyback off of, because I've gotten a lot of questions about it, because I feel like with this Scott Porter event, we've revitalized competitive play a bit. Like there's been events locally. I know Tulsa had their event. There was that other event online. You guys went to Columbus, but I've started getting a lot more questions about, all right, let's do some online tournaments. Let's get some Winamaps going again. And that's the plan, probably coming in June, because goodness knows after all of this I need a vacation.
Yeah, well, you're going on vacation.
Exactly. So starting in June, yes, the plan is we'll start up some Winamaps again. Get back, because I feel like people just got a little burnt out on Winamaps.
Yeah, they did. We've been
I think now people are like, okay, I've got some local stuff going on. I've got this. Let's get it going. So
what I don't understand is I've read some the naysayers out there. I read comments about how bad Wonder Woman is, but this is a great set. I love this set.
Yeah,
it's fun to play. It's got good pieces in there. We just saw meta pieces this past weekend from Wonder Woman. This is a very good set.
Yeah, for sure.
I mentioned it when we did one of our tier makers or something. When you play Wonder Woman in sealed or BRs, you could see what WizKids was going for with the set. Because remember when they announced the set, they were like, all right, we're taking these powers away, we're doing this, and everyone immediately took to arms, which is understandable. But when you actually start playing the set, you really understand that's what they were going for. Because the figures counter each other certain ways really well.
Yeah.
It just made sense. But in the grand scheme of the meta, I mean, I still think this set has a decent amount of pieces that's going to be scratching the meta despite all the changes they've made. Not a ton of pieces. Not a ton, but...
real quick, before we switch to the meta talk, Howard, we got one more question for you on Rock stuff. The Eastview map, will all the Eastview maps be black and white, or is that one, is it just a special version that's black and white?
If you happen to be in the VIG club, I believe you get the colored version.
Okay.
That's the variant.
And then, Alex, one more question about the events this weekend. I think you're going to come out with all of the stats, and you're going to be posting the top 16 teams here all this week, right?
Yeah, so I have it scheduled. This is a little bit of self-promotion for me, just because, hey, I could use a little bit of self-promotion with everything that's gone on. I'm going to be streaming on my own Facebook Live page. I am doing up all the stats, going a big data deep dive. That's kind of what I do for my daily job, is data analysis and that kind of stuff. So data has always been an interest to me, and I think having a data analysis of the meta is something that is interesting. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to have all the team builds visible. We're going to go a deep dive to show, what's the most played figure, how big of an impact certain keywords were, certain theme teams were, and we're going to do that for Silver and Modern Age. I'm working on it actually as we speak. It's a lot of info. But really kind of to answer a lot of questions that people have of like, oh, how did Secret Six do? How did Wonder Woman set do? How many Silver Age pieces were actually played in Silver Age. And I know a big discussion, and we'll talk about this either on here or later, is the whole family restriction aspect. We'll talk about that as well. I've got a lot of data I want to do, and I think it'll be a really fun to talk about on the live stream. Self-plug, it's called Coozinator, Coozinator. I'll post it on the Clixed Off thing and maybe Rock. But I'm doing it Thursday. I don't know if this will be up by then, but Thursday at 7. And I'll talk for a couple hours and go through everything. And then I'll post it afterwards, like the builds and all that. I'm actually going to be putting the builds, maybe not by Thursday, but relatively soon. I'm going to actually post it on the Heroclix for Huntington's site, because that site will keep going. Even though the event's over, it'll keep going, and it'll have historical data, basically, of here's what happened in 2021.
We'll use it again next year. By the way, Jason, I got your tag. When you tagged me, I read that. I know that Alex read it too. And to touch on that a little bit, I hear what everybody is saying. I think that one thing I want to point out is no matter what we do or what we come up with, there will be a meta. We could tell you that everybody has to have a blue shoe. And there would be a meta that came from that. And so when you talk about having fun and having theme teams and family and everything, we did the best we could. We think we can improve upon it. But no matter what we do, no matter what restrictions we put in, there's gonna be a meta from it. And there's gonna be people will always play to win, and there's always gonna be something in there that's gonna outclass everything else. It's gonna be like, oh, that's BS, man. I can't believe he's playing that. That's not the meaning of the tournament. He's just wiping everybody out. It's always going to be something. I don't care if we play with 20-point pieces. It's going to be some 20-point pieces that are going to outclass other 20-point pieces. Or somebody's going to come up with a strategy that pisses everybody off. It's just the nature of the game. That being said, if we would have played this past weekend, which I hinted at Alex, and we would have done the Silver Age the way we did it, and we kicked around maybe making it more of a floor, a family floor, where at least half of your team has to be family, and could be more, but at least half your team has to be floor. But what if everybody remembers Rock Age, and we all loved it, and it eliminates pretty much all the sideline crap. It eliminates Colossals. It eliminates all that. Would that have been better?
So I think what you were talking about would have been like limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, limited. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, Rock limited. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been torn about this one, right? Because I played a fairly casual team, right, in general. So maybe I felt a little bit of the pain of the not so family-oriented teams that did really well. So there's a couple different ways you go about it, but I think more restrictions is the way to go. Either you can do limited or you can do like Pauper. Pauper I think still allows for some very competitive builds, right? Some min-maxing going on, but that power level is fairly equal across the board.
The family element has to stay in it. That's something.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, include the family element, right? But you've got to have that limited format, or you've got to have that Pauper or Highlander.
Highlander's also something that is likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Highlander would be nice, but there's got to be something else that further gets the restriction down.
I agree.
I mean, the other thing that I kind of proposed was, make the fellowship prizing. In this instance, right, the prizing for first place was so great that people just aren't going to be able to help themselves. So you maybe got to have a better balance of first place prizing versus fellowship prizing or thematic prizing.
Yeah, agreed.
to take that draw out from just going balls to the wall on building a team.
But it was, keep in mind, the pricing technically was balanced from our standpoint. Top 4 are the ones that got the significant pricing, and then we had 4 fellowship. I agree that we could maybe put a little bit more into fellowship potentially. But I don't know if pricing necessarily was the issue. As the creator of the ban list, having crowdsourced a lot of the information from a lot of different players, there were definitely some gaps that I know we could fill and will fill going forward. It was more of, this was untested waters. We wanted, or at least I wanted, it to be semi-casual, because that was the goal from Scott. He wants us to be draw everybody. We want to draw everybody to that. I know that's really hard to do.
Let me break in for a second. Initially, it was just before, just so you know the history here where we started with. Initially, it was going to be a Modern Age and a pure Silver Age tournament. No restrictions.
Yep.
I'm okay with no restrictions.
Well, that's because Unimind comes back with no restrictions.
Well, it is, yeah, whatever, that too, right? I mean,
but Scott he wanted to be a tournament where more people played that didn't feel like it was uber competitive. And I get that, but no matter what you do, it's still going to be uber competitive because that's what people are. We can make it better. We can still keep toning it down, but it's still, no matter what we do, the people that are uber competitive are still going to figure out the best thing that they can play with, and it just is.
So that's why I would think, right? I get it, right? I get the dialing it back, but that's the thing. The only reason they have an incentive to want to win is because that top 4 prizing, they walked out with a bag, and if you cut out that stuff, right? If you added, if you halved top 4 prizing and added 2 more fellowship prizes, right? Maybe worse luck number 2 or something. I don't know. Whatever.
We had to
cut that in half or cut it in a quarter, and then give out more fellowship categories. I'd rather have people be trying to.
We had to work with what we had and had to spread it across the board. And
I get it. I'm just talking about for next time.
Yeah.
Well, and ask yourself which one's more important to you. Is it more important for you to prize out the people that are trying to win the tournament, or people that are in the spirit of what the tournament's supposed to be, whatever?
I think both. I'm going to tell you they're equal to me. I don't really. Not one is more important than the other to me. I think they're both.
Yeah, but
both important.
I think the problem was you advertised it as a all levels event that everybody really had equal footing, and I mean that's just not the case. It couldn't be.
We should have ran still.
That would be something like that too. But I think the people that thought they were going to get a theme tournament didn't get it because they thought that was what they were going to get from that, being said, but it wasn't that.
Well, to sum a lot of this up, because there's going to be a lot of conversations had internally, talking, and soon in June or something like that, we're going to start kind of a post-mortem, take a look at the event, what changes need to be made while it's still fresh on people's minds. Things I'm already looking at, and we're going to talk about, like Howard said, Highlander is a big one I think we should consider. Raising the family restrictions, but at the same time, I think there are certain aspects of the family restrictions that could be loosened. I think we had multiverse in place, which I think was good, but I think also we could loosen the multiverse limitations when it comes to the animated sets. We had animated in its own separate tier, and so that kind of pigeonholed certain people into certain, people wanted to play, a Barbara Gordon from Justice League Unlimited, or wanted to play something from Batman. Well, you had to play it with other JLU to make the family theme work. So that's one avenue. I'm thinking, okay, we can improve that. I think also, we threw the ban list on a little late. That was reason why we didn't go super, super hard is because it was so late for us to do that. I think we'll do it earlier. I think we'll also give examples. I think people need examples of what we're looking for with the family restriction. Give some examples of pieces they may not think fit the family restriction, but lo and behold, hey, they do. Like, these are perfectly fine to play these people together. So those are avenues I'm looking for. And obviously, we've got time until next year to think about it and really put it out there. But we are going to listen, and I'm watching the forums to kind of keep an eye on what people are thinking and wanting. And obviously, we'll be talking with Scott about it to really make sure we learn from this and then learn what improvements we can make and make sure this happen.
I think we need to make it easier to build a team. I think that I like the family idea, but I think that because it is as restricted as what we did, or what we were trying to make it, like you were saying, is that it became difficult to build teams sometimes. And I don't know. There's got to be a better way of doing it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it was really came down to, we're trying to cater to both groups. And so we have to put restrictions in, which unfortunately affect both groups, because I got asked pretty, no offense to the people who asked, pretty ridiculous questions about certain group ups. Some that I was like, how could you think that this was a family? Like, we're going for a family theme. How could you think that this would be a family? And that's kind of what led to a lot of, additional restrictions, or, the multiverse came into that because we had people that wanted to play the Commissioner and Barbara Gordon from JLU. And I was like, you don't want to do that because you think of Jim Gordon and Barbara Gordon as the ultimate family.
Yeah.
They are, but there is Jim Gordons you could play. You want to play that because you really want to play the Commissioner. You don't care about the family element. That just happens to fit the family element. So that's why we were kind of building certain ways, because we were asked those questions that I'm like, I get what you're going for, but that's a big stretch. So we're going to keep all this in mind. We're going to obviously improve, and I think we will come up with something everyone's going to have a good time with next year. Just because we learned, I feel like I learned so much this weekend. So,
do we have any questions that we need to answer that people posted?
Yeah, I'm just going through. We can go through that. I mean, I just want to give a shout out, Colt, Vince, John Dunn, Rodrigo, Emmanuelle, Edward K. Just wanted to say thanks, Alex. Simeon, for your question about the total money. Brandon Burney, we talked about your question. Matthew Gronhide, we followed up with everything on yours. Some of these questions are meta questions. McConnell, we talked about the upcoming online tournaments. PJ Bowen wants to give a big shout out and a thank you for everybody. And I think that is all the questions about the event. Like I said, we're probably going to want to do a meta deep dive episode here.
Well, I want to answer Brad's question. I've been dying to answer that question. So
okay, fair enough. And if you have any, Howard, we can talk a little bit about the teams that we saw played and that sort of thing, and kind of your thought on some of those too. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Go for it. What were your thoughts on Brad's team?
Well, ask the question so everybody knows what to.
Brad Broyle's question?
Yeah.
Oh, he said, I would just like to hear your thoughts on my team. His team is Prime Bishop, Magneto from House of X, 2 Maggots, Chase Apocalypse, Lila Cheney, and 2 Dark Phoenixes.
Unfortunately, for most of the day, for both days, I was unable to watch games because of jumping back and forth between raffles and talking to Scott and talking to these guys and doing stuff on the win and doing whatever needed to be done. At the end of the day, when everything else was settling down and we were in the finals, the final 8, whatever, I was actually able to start watching some of the games. So I got to watch Brad's team, and it's good. It's a very good team. Brad should have won the game. I mean, no offense to
Man,
no offense. He played great, and that's a great team too. But that game, watching it, I've been in these games before where I felt like I was controlling the game, and then the time was called and I lost. I felt like for the last 20 minutes of the game that Brad had control of the game, and he just didn't score enough points to win the game. But another turn or two, maybe just one more turn, I think he wins. I just he had the stuff there, and Matt had been whittled down enough and couldn't effectively counter whatever he was doing, and I think he would have won the game. That's my take on it. I think it's a great team. Funny thing is, he lost his first two games of the tournament, and then won out all the way until the final loss.
Yep. And I mean, we could wait to talk about. I mean, I could wait to talk about my feelings about it because till Thursday or whenever we do the recording. Sorry, but it's definitely an interesting team. I think it's a good team. But there's
Brad got second. So just for a meta breakdown of what we want to talk about, what we're going to be talking about soon. I mean, the Oklahoma event happened. It had 32 players in person Saturday, 300 modern. Caleb Reddick won with Secret Six. Big congratulations to Matt Ventura for winning. What do we have? 62 or 4 people Sunday. Alex,
I think it was 64.
It bounced around so much. It's hard.
60 something players. Matt Ventura. Congratulations for winning with the Latveria team. I think just as spoiler alert, a lot of things we'll talk about is Mr. Sky Tyrant. Fun fact there for those of you that were not paying attention, Matt beat me in round 5 as we were both 2-2. So we were on the cusp there. And neither one of us had enough points to be the 2-3 that made it. So Mr. Ventura.
That's pretty incredible. What you're telling me is that both players that were in the finals were 2-2 going into basically the final, the cut round.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that?
Yeah, and then Matt won it out the rest of the day. So.
Yeah, there's definitely a ton to talk about. So I can't wait for when we record that. There's a big deep dive, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it on my live stream when we do the data analysis. But it's definitely going to be definitely a lot to take away with it.
Yeah.
When I was watching the games, my take on it, the game ain't speeded up none. There was a lot of tech going on, a lot of sidestepping, a lot of producing of pogs, a lot of stuff shooting all the way across the board and shooting over here and it was the games that I watched, I felt like there wasn't a lot of difference, as far as the turns seemed to be not longer, but not any better than what we thought that they were going to be. We thought that we were simplifying the game. I don't think the game simplified one bit, except we don't have ID cards.
No, I mean, all of my games on Sunday went to time. So, yeah, I mean, there was no expediency added, I don't think.
Now, I will say this. We totally didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but it turned out to be much bigger a deal. It's not really a great idea to run a major tournament like a week after a comp rulebook comes out. Because we were under the impression it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. But there were who knew the comp rulebook would come out and there would still be a lot of big questions about things. And kudos to Aaron, kudos to Brian, kudos to BZ. We were able to handle the tournament. I think was very, very well judged, especially given the questions and like we didn't really have a lot of bad questions over the weekend, and I think a lot of that is because we made rulings ahead of time. We cut some of the things that we knew, like we saw about the first person setting up and rolling off map, and everyone was like, oh, you got to set up second player first. But then Scott chimed in. I'm blanking on his name. WizKids. No, WizKids Scott.
Diagnostio?
Yeah, Diagnostio. Remember, he chimed in on that one post on the rule book and said this is going to change. Like, don't worry, this is not what it's supposed to be. So we made a lot of our judging decisions based off of, okay, what would WizKids do? What is their intent here? And I think it went really, really well. So hats off to Aaron and Brian and BZ.
What was the question that we had where we had to get it was the elevation question where we had to get Kenny.
Yes, shooting. Technically, the rule book wasn't very clear about shooting from elevation 2 to elevation 2 with blocking in between. It didn't clearly state that that's blocked indoor or outdoor. Like it alluded to it was blocked, regardless if it was indoor or outdoor. We were able to get to Kenny, and Kenny was able to clear that up pretty quickly, thank goodness, because it was one of those. It was
is
one
it
of those.
Blocked or is it not blocked?
I believe it's not blocked. Was the question now?
When we were indoor, it was blocked.
Yeah, indoor it is blocked, but the question was, I believe, outdoor, because the rule book didn't explicitly state, if you're shooting from. Oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't that. It was second elevation to first elevation.
Yeah.
It was really confusing now. Sorry, I haven't slept very much since then.
I thought it was. I asked the question, Kenny. If I remember right, it was elevation 2 to elevation 2 with blocking on elevation 1.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Elevation 2, blocking on 1. This is indoor. Is it blocked? And he said no.
Yeah, that's the way it was in the old rules. So.
Yep. But the rule book currently is a little vague on it, so that leads to some questions, and that's kind of how it is right now with the comp rule book. And I feel like Heroclix players have become this way. Heroclix players need everything explicitly told to them. If it's not explicitly stated, then they just run with it on everything. So, and then you have the calm down everybody, everything's okay people who calm everyone down. So. Really well done, I feel like, for the group this weekend. We really and that was also to the players as well. We did not have a lot of crazy questions. We didn't have a lot of arguing. That's not the right call. Everyone understood. Everyone was polite. Everyone and I think a lot of that Heroclix players are just a generally good community, and so. Despite there being a lot of stuff on the line, a lot of prizing, everyone handled themselves, I feel like, appropriately. So
I don't remember seeing anybody get upset about anything. I think everybody was genuinely happy for each other.
Yeah, there was some iffiness about, we had some newer players or some that weren't Roll20 savvy.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so that brought up some frustrations, but.
Well, you heard my comments on that. I'm not going to talk who the players are, but I was surprised that not only did the player that we're talking about actually ended up doing pretty good. I was totally surprised.
Yeah, and part of we're taking those comments seriously, and so we're going to work on trying to get more resources out there before bigger tournaments on how to do this Roll20 stuff. Once again, for me, it's if I had to boil down, I was talking about this, I forget to who, comparing how our Rock Nationals went and this event went, for me personally. Leading into Nationals, it was a lot more boring and stressful at the it was a lot more mind-numbing because I was making dials every single day, spending hours making dials into Roll20. And so the build-up was a little less stressful, but a lot more boring. But this go-around, it was the reverse. Lead up to it, I was helping Howard. We were doing the live streams with Scott. I was building the Heroclix for Huntington's webpage. We were making all these changes. So it ultimately ended up being a lot more stressful for me, even though it was run, I feel, smoother. Outside of the hiccups in the tournament, the whole thing I feel like was run a lot smoother. So it's interesting. And one of the things, unfortunately, that I wanted to do, I intended to do, but ran out of time, was to do a full Roll20 game, like for the major tournaments, show how it's supposed to be done. And we also ran into that hiccup where we weren't expecting people to bring in their own tokens. They weren't going to have to do all of this stuff. But then Roll20 basically deleted most of Jay Patel's stuff leading into the game, leading into the week. And I don't think he still has it recovered. He has the games, but not the images recovered. So that was kind of a wrench that was thrown into our side the 2 days before, the night before, actually. So my
criticism of us is that I looked back at what we did before. When we ran nationals, there was a tremendous. The first day was rough, okay, but the second day was not, and the following week with teams was not. We improved. I felt like we took a little bit of a step back. And I think that, and when I say that, we took too long between rounds. We took too long starting, and that would have all been okay if it would have been nationals like we did before, where we had Saturday and then a cut to Sunday. We did it all in one day, so we needed to even be more efficient on both these days because of the length of the tournament, and we weren't, in my opinion. I think that we should have done better in between rounds. We're going to have to force players to get ready quicker, and we're going to have to be ready to go quicker. That's my opinion. That's part of the criticism.
Yeah, and I think I completely agree. I think there was definitely room for improvement, and definitely, our intentions with this tournament were, we weren't expecting anybody to have to bring anything. And so having to change that last second really threw a lot of, at least me, for a loop trying to organize a lot of this. Like, we had the whole GM issue, which we have every time.
You were near panic mode Saturday morning.
Say what?
You were near panic mode Saturday morning.
I had to be in order to get things where we wanted to go. I hate having to make everybody a GM in every Roll20 game. It's annoying. It's the one aspect of Roll20 that I dislike, and we actually had a solution for it, and then Roll20 somehow messed up and our solution failed like the day or two before. And so I always keep contingency plans in place. So we went to plan B, but plan B ultimately meant that we were a bit slower than we intended. So I wish, in the multiverse theory, there's an alternate universe where that didn't happen and we ran the tournament with those rooms. But if you want anybody,
where it probably was disaster and everybody screamed at us all day long and we never got through it.
Well, if anybody wanted to see what the dream was, if you played in any of our battle royales, that was what the dream was. Basically, everything's in our Roll20 journal. You don't have to be a GM. Everything is there for you. You can pull out your figures from Roll20. No images needed from you. Nothing needed. You didn't need to be a GM. You just hop in the room, throw things down, and play. It's a beautiful system. It just didn't happen. So, but we always live and learn from these. And you know what? At Nats, if you told me, well, I guess after the Rock World event that we did, if you told me we were going to do another major event in a weekend where we had over 120 people playing, I would have laughed, because I said, what? No, we're not doing this again. We did nationals, we did worlds, we're done. COVID will be slowing down. We should be done with this. And then lo and behold, we did another one. So it wouldn't surprise me if something happened down the road where we have another big tournament. I can't pretend that we won't, because
I can very well see potentially that nationals or worlds or whatever happens again online, guys.
Yep. And if so, we should have everything in place, backups on backups. unfortunately, in this scenario, we hadn't gotten to the point where we made our backups or made our rooms on our side, so I couldn't back everything up. So he lost it before we were able to really implement it on our side. So whenever we get to that spot, yeah, I can't wait to see a tournament run with all of that in place. I think it would be with everything like that in place, like Howard was talking about, we could push people and say, listen, you're sitting down at your table, you've got like 5-10 minutes to set up because you don't have to bring anything. Everything's in the game for you. So you have very little excuse to say, oh, I can't get set up. Everything's there. There's no waiting for me to make you a GM in the game. There's no waiting for you to pull out a map. Everything's there for you. And so that allows us.
Hey, Alex, how many people do you think played for the first time or close to the first time Saturday online?
There were a lot of names I hadn't seen before.
But you think they had played Roll20 before?
Maybe at a side event. There's a lot of different Discords. Like I know Jay Patel has his own. I know Brad Broyles does his own. So maybe. But I would say out of the 66, maybe 10. I know probably 10 to 12 people. I've never seen their names before in a Rock Online event.
Well, I'm not talking about new people. I'm just talking about. My concern is I almost feel like you have to have a Roll20 Heroclix license to be able to come play in the tournament. And it's not that it's that complicated, but I just don't like people learning on the fly. I really wish there was a way that we could make everybody go through some kind of system to prove that they know how to play before they actually went to a major tournament.
And that's what Aaron was talking about during the event. And sorry, Dan and Jason, this has become me and Howard talking podcast.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. That's what we're here for tonight.
Basically,
it's okay. I'm getting some nap in.
Yeah. That's what Aaron mentioned also that he wants to do, and I think that's a great idea, is to implement something like that where you have to go not take a course, but to go through, acknowledge you've watched a video of something, like maybe a rock specific video, and in order to sign up for it, we have to see that you've done something. Maybe, I don't know how we could do it, but some way to make it where we know that you've taken some steps into getting ready for this. Because we're not requiring figures. We're making it easy for you to hop on and play. So it's really, you should kind of meet us halfway and at least take the very few steps you need to get online, read some stuff, and know how to use the system. And I had a lot of people, a decent amount of people ask me, do you have a practice game and whatnot? And unfortunately, we dropped the ball on that because, once again, we didn't have the games up in order for us to play them. Like, we didn't have any of that. I wish we did beforehand, but we ultimately didn't even have them for the tournament. But we will, going forward. We'll have all of that stuff set up so that way you could hop into a game, play around with some stuff. And luckily, I had gotten the Battle Royale tutorial out there.
We did good, Alex. I'm not complaining about the weekend, but God, we could have done much better with 3-4 more weeks of preparation.
Oh yeah, and if work wasn't so bad for me this past week, that would have been better too for me. But yeah, there's a lot I think we could improve on, and I think the Silver Age, we talked about it being semi-casual. We want to get the new players. We want to get people that haven't tried Rock Online before to hop in and try it. And I think we did succeed in that with quite a few people. Like I said, I've never seen their names before. We had a lot of people join the Discord that haven't been in the Discord before. So very encouraging, and hopefully it continues.
All right, well, I think that cover everything you wanted to talk about, Howard, or anything else you want to cover with us tonight?
It covered more than I wanted to talk about.
Good. So, yeah, I plan on getting this one out pretty quick, depending on how my this is my busy work week of the month. So,
well, the guys out there got to actually listen to us have ongoing conversations. This is what it's like when Alex and I and everybody are talking. We're
sure.
sending ideas. So you you kind of this went from a podcast, but it also went to us actually talking about where we want to do it and how we want to do it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of great insight for folks listening tonight. Listen to the episode of, about how things work behind the scenes and, some of the plans for the future. Jason, you got any final thoughts for tonight?
I just want to say thank you to Howard and Alex and Scott Porter and everybody else involved for the great weekend. A lot of hard work is involved, I know. So thank you again.
Well, congrats on your. It's kind of sad to wish somebody. It's kind of mixed feelings. Good job on sucking.
Right? Like, I'm like the best shitty dice roller ever. Like, I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Alex, final thoughts?
Big shout out, I think, and I know this has been said multiple times, to just Scott Porter in general. He didn't need to spend as much time as he did over the weekend just hopping in and out of rooms, going to BRs, playing with people. He hopped in at least 3 BRs that weren't the auction ones just to hang out and play. Me and him hung out in a room during the finals on Sunday, and we just watched the game and talked about it. He's a very, very friendly guy, a really great person for the community, and I'm glad a lot of players got to really talk to him one-on-one and really see that he's just not the guy that does unboxing videos. He does so much more for the community, so kudos to him. Hopefully he's listening to this. I mentioned he should start listening to Clixed Off, so maybe he will at some point. But
that 2 things I want to say there. Scott, I've been talking to him every day, multiple times for weeks, and I've enjoyed it, and we've worked really well together. And I told him that I was committed and that we would make this work, and I think I made a believer out of him. But I'm impressed by he was wanting to make sure that everything was right. He's had a lot of input in things. Mm-hmm. And over the weekend, the thing that was maybe most impressive about him is he felt like the community really went to bat for him, went to bat for Huntington's, and he was going to make sure that people got their money's worth, meaning that he was going to be everywhere, talking to everybody. He was going to play in as many battle royals as he could. He was keeping track of everything that he was doing to make sure that he fulfilled his promise to everyone, and he did by far, and it was great working with him. The other thing is could somebody send me Alex or Dan, if you got them, will you please send me all of the Calder nests, the 3 different things that Calder has done, the little videos that he's done. Scott's never seen them. And
the different Heroclix players.
Yes, there's 2 of them.
Yeah,
he does me and he does Scott in one of them, and then this last one that he did where he made fun of WizKids. Will you send all 3? Somebody send me the links to those, because I want to send them to Scott, because I think Scott will enjoy them.
And not to take up any more time, but anybody that was naysaying the family restrictions, I will say, Scott Porter did he did want us to go to him with any of these weird family restrictions, and he did sign off on some or say, no, that doesn't work out. Like, I was impressed with how open he was with, listen, man, come to me if you have any questions about whether you think this combo works or doesn't. And yep, he answered all the ones that I had questions about.
Great comic book database in that head of his.
Yep.
Howard, did you have any other final thoughts?
No, I think that's pretty much it, man. I enjoyed being back. I'm excited about the direction that we're going, and that's I'm very happy right now. I think we've found our way.
I totally agree. I'm looking forward to what the rest of 2021 brings, for sure. Well, thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off today, and thanks Howard and Alex, and for all y'all did, and Scott. Hopefully you're listening to your first Clixed Off episode on this one, and just thanks for all the effort. I had a wonderful time, and look forward to the in-person version of this one next year. And again, thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off today, and we'll talk to y'all next time.